This is where things actually stand with Lionel Messi's international future. And it's messier than either he's retiring or he's staying, headlines have made it sound. 10 days after Argentina's World Cup final loss, multiple reports are contradicting each other, and Messi himself hasn't said a word publicly about what comes next.
Spain beat Argentina 1-0 in extra time on July 19th, and that scoreline ended the tournament, denying Argentina a shot at becoming the first team since Brazil in 1962 to win back-to-back World Cups. Messi sat on the grass at MetLife Stadium afterward, visibly emotional, offering nothing to the press about what came next. Custom boots carried him through the tournament, a pair Adidas named The Last Tango, a title chosen specifically because this was expected to be his final World Cup. Head coach Lionel Scaloni broke down in tears of his own at the post-match press conference, and the whole scene read like an ending. At 39 years old, fresh off a final loss, that assumption hardened fast.
Here's where this actually gets interesting, and where a lot of coverage has flattened something messier into something simple. Argentine journalist Gaston Edul of TYC Sports reported that Sunday's final would not be Messi's last appearance at the international level, adding that Argentina's federation is planning a proper home soil tribute match, a send-off for fans who never got to watch him play a competitive match on Argentine turf. Edul's confidence reportedly comes from a specific detail. None of Messi's inner circle had been told during the tournament that this would be his final World Cup. And by Edul's account, that possibility was being used as motivation rather than treated as settled fact. The expectation, per that same reporting, is that Messi stays involved when Argentina returns to action during the extended September international break, giving him a realistic near-term target rather than an open-ended promise.
But that's not the only account circulating. Around that same window, Messi's own teammate, Leandro Paredes, said publicly that Messi had viewed the World Cup final itself as his farewell to international football. ESPN Argentina, separately, reported that the general mood inside the Argentina camp was that 2026 marked Messi's last World Cup, with people close to him admitting that continuing would be physically and emotionally difficult, given he'd turn 43 by the time the next tournament arrives in 2030. That same reporting noted his teammates plan to do everything humanly possible to convince him to stay on, but that the actual decision comes down to how his body holds up. Worth noting too, on the club side, Messi's contract with Inter Miami runs through December 2028, meaning whatever he decides about Argentina, his playing career isn't ending anytime soon regardless. So right now, you've got a teammate saying Messi already said goodbye, a well-connected insider insisting he isn't done, and Messi himself staying silent on the record through all of it. That's not a plot twist someone engineered. That's just an unresolved situation playing out in real time.
One thing is confirmed, though. Messi never fully closed the door, even before the tournament started. Asked about playing on, his answer stayed conditional, tied to whether he can still contribute and feel good physically. That's been his pattern for years now, dating back to a brief retirement in 2016 that he reversed 2 months later and echoed again in 2024 when he described taking his international career day by day without committing either way. He tends to let situations resolve themselves rather than announce anything final.
Angel Di Maria, who stepped away from international football himself last year, hasn't been shy about wanting Messi to keep going. Leo has to continue for as long as he wants, he told TNT Sports. I think he can continue for many more years. At 39, he showed that he is one of the best and that he can continue being one of the greatest in history. Di Maria didn't stop at Messi either. He separately pushed for Scaloni to stay on as coach too, calling him the leader of the national team and pointing to the young generation of players coming through the squad who still need him. That matters here because Scaloni's own future is genuinely uncertain as well. He's publicly said he'll fulfill his contract through December, but hasn't committed beyond that, meaning Argentina's captain and its coach could both be making career decisions on similar timelines. A former World Cup winning teammate making the case for Messi publicly, right as plenty of headlines were writing him off entirely, says something about how split the actual football world is on this. All of that speculation is playing out against a backdrop of real disciplinary trouble, and none of it disappears just because the tournament wrapped up. The final itself produced the first case. In the chaos right after the final whistle, Leandro Paredes appeared to grab Spain's Eric Garcia by the throat and shove Gavi to the ground, drawing a red card from referee Slavko Vincic. Nahuel Molina struck Rodri as he ran past celebrating, and assistant coach Roberto Ayala got tangled in an altercation with Dani Olmo. British commentator Alan Shearer didn't hold back on BBC's coverage in the moment, saying Paredes threw 2 or 3 haymakers into someone's face and calling the reaction terrible, while fellow pundit Joe Hart called it disgusting behavior. Paredes' card was later erased from FIFA's official record, and FIFA confirmed to BBC Sport that no disciplinary action had actually been taken at the time. That's not the end of it, though. FIFA has since confirmed a formal investigation, appointing a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor to examine potential breaches from the post-match incidents, and any ban or fine would emerge from that separate process.
The second case traces back somewhere else entirely. Argentina's semifinal win over England on July 15th, when players held up a banner reading Las Malvinas son Argentinas, asserting sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. The UK government publicly pushed FIFA to investigate. Argentina's own president, Javier Milei, called the players' celebration perfectly valid and said it reflects a sentiment shared by all Argentinians, while still predicting the team would likely face a fine over it. FIFA opened a case tied to the banner violating the tournament's code of conduct, and that case remains active too. 2 open FIFA cases then, both tied to the same tournament Messi just walked away from, neither one resolved yet. Should the farewell tour reporting hold up, Messi could keep representing Argentina for months, while his own federation works through 2 live disciplinary processes at the same time. Every future call-up, every headline about a possible tribute match would sit right next to a parallel story about fines or suspensions tied to Paredes, Ayala, or the federation as a whole. History suggests FIFA tends to lean toward fines over lengthy bans in cases like this. Still, if Argentina is genuinely planning a celebratory send-off, that celebration would be unfolding under the shadow of an active investigation into how the team's own tournament ended. Nothing here is settled. Messi hasn't confirmed a thing publicly. The reporting on whether he's staying or already delivered his goodbyes stays genuinely split between credible sources close to the team, and Argentina's FIFA situation is still grinding through its process, with no announced resolution date for either case. What's real? The boots were named for an ending that may or may not have already happened. One teammate says Messi already called it. Another is publicly asking him to stay. Scaloni's own future is tied up in the same uncertainty, and FIFA has 2 open files with Argentina's name on them no matter what Messi ultimately decides. The rest of it is still being written.